What's up, everybody? Let's get it. Yes, yes, yo, you don't stop. Big John come rocking the short shot. Call to the pen, HQ. Fastest show with MLB. Absolutely anywhere. Hanging with me. Who am I? It's the girl named Sugar. The big man with the big mouth for the big apple. Big Johnny Stud coming to you worldwide from Brooklyn, New York, as always. Me and Jay Bird coming out the chair as always, man. 115 off the crack of the back because we're getting when we fin it round here, man. I'll sleep when I die. What's up? Usual suspects hanging out in the chat already. BE, Crip Zombie. Freak out with the geek out. Hang out with the wang out. Rock out with the cock out. Baby. Come on. We are off the rails. Getting it done. We crossed 1,100 subs. We crossed the 400 subs on BetStamp, man. Thank you all for jumping in with us. This immersive experience where you're part of the phalanx. Grab the spear. Grab the shield. It's time to defend Sparta. It ain't madness, baby. When you roll with us. Nuance and context. Pour it out your freaking nose. Yo, we're going from the microscope to the telescope in this Game 7 NLCS. Shame on me, Jay. Shame on me, man. Hoping the Phillies would win so I'd have the day off. Come on, what's up with that? There's only a few more left, man. Let's spin the record one more time. We're going to run it back. Call to the pen. Mean, baby. I love it. I just absolutely love it. I love it. All right, let's get into the thing. Tyler C., good morning. My people, Brian E., all of you degens, man. I mean that in the very best way. We are, yes. Are we focused on winning? Are we focused on the best analysis? Having some fun while we do application, theory, risk management, OPMG, capo status. Sup, brethren? BGC, come on, what's up, my dude? Can-Am connection. Again, one of the better examples of the growth that we've seen in some of the listenership here. And that's what really means the most to me. You know, I get on my soapbox and I start screaming. But to know that we're leaving you with stuff that matters beyond winning picks, hopefully, which again, you know, we want to make money. Let's, you know, for those, I talk about losing maybe a bit too much, but it's part of the transparency. It's part of the gravitational pull, I think, that we have to be this honest. Most people only talk about wins. They only tweet things when they win. I kind of expect to win, so I tweet when I lose. All right, let's do it. It's Game 7. I owe the Diamondbacks an apology. Thinking they would get swept. They've shown all the moxie. You got to get a break or two, but that's kind of part of it. Let's get into the game. Game 7. And last night on the other side, pretty exciting. Exciting to see new faces. You know, Phillies have been there. Arizona, talk about new faces. I was thinking about the Rangers, but man, I really sold the Diamondbacks short. Going to be really exciting to see the competitive window in Arizona play out over the next, 5-10 years if they do it correctly. Gallen is young, Fott is young, Carroll is young, the base is in place. I'm a poet, didn't know it. Really exciting if you're a Diamondback fan. Don't be disappointed if you lose today. They show out, you know. They showed out, really got it done. They should be proud. I tend to think the Phillies are a little more built for this, but look where that got me in my, sweep recommendation. So first, L for love for me. Arizona plus 150 dog on the road. Brandon Fott on the bump for those snakes with shapes on their back in Philadelphia against the Phillies and Power Ranger Suarez. Let's do Brandon Fott first this postseason. Oh, man, feels like it was just yesterday. That first game, we were jumping on Brandon Fott. I wasn't buying the Diamondbacks at the get-go. I liked the Brewers, though I was worried when we got the Woodruff news. But I'm not going to shy away from the fact I thought even still with Burns and Peralta, Brewers had the upper hand. They did not. We went against Fott. At Milwaukee, goes 2 2/3, gives up 3. Strikes out 4, walks 1. And I was kind of like, yeah, maybe they're just not ready yet. Well, in LA, he goes 4 1/3, gives up none, strikes out 2, walks none. Then in Philly, game 3, that was, went 5 2/3, gave up none, struck out 9, walked none. Brilliant performance from Brandon Fott. Remember, this young man dominated the minors. He was one of the brighter prospects coming into the major league this year, in particular because of the workload. Sometimes we get prospects with potentially higher upsides on a per inning basis. Guys that go out there and strike out 1 million batters and all this stuff. Usually those guys come with injury concerns and workload concerns. And Pop was just the opposite. I actually want to bring it up. I know he had a really impressive run in the minor leagues last. I was trying to separate just the AAA numbers because they were so good. But so this year he had 16 2/3 in AAA, then went 96 up top. So he was good for 150. He had gone 165 the year before. That was one of the main pieces. And then with the promotion to AAA, 3.7 ERA, 1.24 WHIP, 27K to 6 walk. Came up and he got roughed up. The fastball is not great. I did want to mention, though, that total in the playoffs. Someone was asking me yesterday to bring it up. So it's 12 2/3, 2.13 ERA, 0.95 WHIP for Font, right? So he's been excellent. I'll go into the macro stuff in a second. But in this small set, so this is like narrative street, right? Game 7 is narrative street. Young rookie feeling the flow, right? Is it a John Lester situation, right? Wasn't he a rookie golf pro? What's going down, man? Grab your spear. Right? Lester was a rookie when he did the 04 run and he smushed the Yankees. So sometimes we see this, I think Michael Wacha, also I'm dating myself maybe a bit, right? But Wacha with the Cardinals, I think he started with a massive playoff run. So these things do happen. Bright prospects, seeing them kind of bloom. More importantly, what I had written down for this postseason, 31% strikeout to only 2% walk. Let's keep that in mind when we're doing the props. He's been downright excellent. And in fact, those runs I mentioned against the Brewers, they may have all been in the first inning. I think he got roughed up, settled down, and just since that point, he's been downright electric. Fume says, big time Suarez. It's time. That is going to be a really good one. You see the names, I think maybe like you pop the hood a little bit stronger now. Again, this is narrative street. I'm generally not chasing small samples. Let's be honest, right? Because this is what we do every day without being fakes, right? We're doing our analysis, coming up with our thesis, and then trying to be consistent in our, procedure, right? The methodology afterwards. Generally, if I saw these numbers that I'm going to come at you with, the larger set, the year-to-date stuff, with the underpinnings of a bad fastball, I'd probably be worried. So that's really the crux here, right? That's like the center of the debate. That's the pivot point, right? Of the decision-making is either Fott's been great, you're seeing the emergence of a young superstar, or we caught the top sine wave of a pitcher who's, good, but maybe not great and has a little bit to go. Let's check it out. On the season, 18 games started, only 3 quality starts and only 2 money starts. Remember, we like to isolate these determinative starts. I developed money starts, 7 innings minimum, 2 earned runs maximum. I'm not going to go any further. 0 10 strikeout games. He also didn't face Philadelphia this year prior to Game 3. He struggled with both lefties and righties. 365 minimum WOBA allowed to both sides. That's pretty brutal. I've got the other stuff here too. Okay, so righties bat 290 against him, 857 OPS, almost 2 home runs per 9. Kind of rough. Hard to kind of hide that, right? That 2 home run especially. Lefties hitting 273, 867 OPS, 2.25 home run. So it's been an issue with Fott. Again, I mentioned the fastball. It's not very good. Also, minimum 5 ERA, both home and away. Fastball at the center of it, 94 miles an hour. Remember, we use usage, X-slug, and whiff rate, deployment, contact quality, swing and miss ability, and then we'll get into some shape. 45% use is very, very high, right? That's really like a primary pitch, almost like a primary plus. 548 X-slug, a really awful contact quality number, lad. Which again, this is one of the things I just don't understand. If I ever, was able to finagle my fat ass into one of these organizations and someone was listening and weighing my opinion, it was worth a damn. One of the very first things I'd be doing would be isolating our rotations, very worst pitches, and minimizing the usage. I understand the four-seamer is part of a foundational base in an arsenal. I get this. Come on. It's going to be used to change eye levels, to change speeds. It's going to be used to set up the off-speed stuff. All that being said, you don't have to go beyond 33. You don't need to go to 45 if the thing's getting smoked and it's not inducing whiff rates. 548 X-Lug, 18% whiff. Those are all really poor. Again, there's too much sink vertically, right? We want less vertical break. That's the idea of a rising fastball. They don't actually rise. They just sink less in relation with gravity involved. Again, if you threw a flat fastball, you would have defied physics, and you're a miracle worker. Big time extension on the fastball. Now that's part of the reason probably that they're going back to it, and why you see the elevated stuff plus numbers. Remember, the longer the extension, the shorter the distance the ball must travel, and then the harder it is to pick up. Again, a lot of these things have to do with the relative deceptive elements, right? It comes a little bit faster, it comes out a little bit later, and it appears to be a little bit faster, and that's enough to just throw hitters off. But again, the underpinnings of the fastball are just not great. The velo is not great, the shape is not great, and he's been punished for it. 13 home runs on the fastball this year. The changeup is very good, but it also gets hit hard. 33% whiff rate, which is good, but a nearly 600 X-Lug, right? So there you see how both pitchers, both the four-seamer and the off-speed stuff from Fott have gotten punished, and that's really at the center of why, he hasn't been that good. One thing I did pick up on, this is a lot of the stuff you'll see after the World Series. I'll take probably just a couple days off and start writing next year's, I call it a fantasy thing, but it's really everything. When you read the stuff and you understand just the underpinnings and trajectories, that's what I like to cover. Right, this is not about like, oh, it was good, so it will stay good. If it was good, why was it good? Will we expect it to continue to be good? And I do that for basically every player. Not only did we did really well in player props, did excellent in fantasy stuff. Good for me. Anybody who want to congratulate me? I did end up winning that NFBC league, so I won my very first NFBC Fab league, and Big Daddy's going to the main event. So I'll be representing the Colton Penn crew in the NFBC main event next year. I'm super excited about it. I won a qualifier, and a lot of the work we do here at the center of it. So I've always been pushing that the baseball betting community has been lagging because they're not involved in fantasy, which is a lot of the science, where the science happens. Now, I understand that all of it is applicable to betting, and that's why bettors that are doing hockey and other stuff, or just Korean tennis or whatever, are not into this. But I've always found that understanding the whys has really helped the betting go. So thank you, Crib Zombie. We do appreciate it. You guys we're all part of this. Like, this is for us, man. Yeah, Tyler, appreciate you, man. Really, got to work here. Also, if anybody is a fantasy player, my highest recommendation, if you want to play in NFBC, I understand. Listen, I'm not throwing your I'm not throwing your money away. I never would do that. And I understand some of these leagues are really expensive. However, because of the workload and the difficulty level, a lot of people play as a team. They now offer, it's a $125 league. Winner take all goes to the main event. $125 is a pretty reasonable price point for fantasy baseball, considering all the work that you put in. And then the payoff is to go to the main event where there's six figures at up for grabs. Again, I know this is betting, not fantasy, but I do sometimes like to stop and have people see like how these things overlap. And also, I'm working on this stuff a year round, right? I want you to have your faith in me that I don't just turn it off and turn it back on and start guessing at the betting board, right? We've been working, we're setting our chips, getting everything in place, and trying to get ahead of the market, right? And again, another positive season. My subs did excellent. We closed up over 20 units. The show did well. We got into the green after a rough start. And that's what it's all about, right? Being sustainable right in that process. So let's get back into the game. One thing we noticed with Fott, remember, he came up and got crushed. They sent it back down. At that point, he was throwing that fastball like 65% of the time, 60% of the time. Hyper usage, right? Premium plus, primary plus. When he went down, they developed a sweeper. And it's been really good. So added the sweeper on promotion, dropped the fastball use from 60 to 45. So that's step one. I would turn it down another click. The sweeper, 27 use, 320 X-Lug, 34 whiff rate. I mean, it quite literally like almost half of the expected slug with nearly double the whiff rate of the four-seamer. I don't know why he's not throwing the sweeper 45% of the time. See if you can get people to go for it. Stop throwing the fastball in the zone. All right, so that's the underpinning of why I'm worried about Fott. So, right, we've seen the positive is the trajectory recently. He's been so really good. But there's also some bad, though. I have some worries. Check out the whiff rates and CSW called strikes plus whiffs in game 3. He was electric, downright unhittable. The four-seamer had a 50% whiff rate, 40. Just a what? 50%. Sweeper, 53 whiff, 63 CSW. And the sinker, 33, 43 respectively. So he had everything working. Can we expect it again? I'm not so sure. Kind of a tough one. Let's get into the props and see if we get some plays here. Jay, we've got 4.5 strikeouts. He's gone over that 10 of 18 starts. He has not eclipsed it in 2 of 3 playoff starts, so I think I would leave that one. Here's the one that is really tough. I understand it's game 7. We know it's the quick hook. Jay, I like having you kind of chime in on these. The out prop is set at 11.5. 11.5. He's gone over that 17 of 18 starts, even considering the rough patch, and we're getting into plus money. Jay, I think I'd like him to go 4, man. Right? 12 outs is 4 innings. I mean, he does it every he does that. I guess he didn't get it in Milwaukee, but I guess that's part of it. Got it against the Dodgers, got it against the Phillies, got it against everybody during the season. So I think I would take the plus money. 11.5 outs. The bar is just so incredibly low. Let's check out the other two. Walks are set at 1.5. He's gone over that 9 of 18. Jay, I want to go under this one. I feel the under at plus money. And I mentioned, what is it? Did I say 2%? A 2% walk rate in the playoffs already. He's not walking anyway. He's got 1 walk in 12 and 2/3. So the control has been completely on point. I like the plus money. And again, if he loses control and gets hit, right, we could kind of split those, is what I mean. Right, you could not get the outs, but still get your under walks as he isn't in there long enough. And then over 1.5 earned runs, 13 of 18. Man, I wish we had chased the trend, but with Nola yesterday, right? We were talking about that and just didn't jump on it. Probably a mistake. No, I'm not going to touch I don't want to touch the runs because again, I think just staying within the story that we're drawing up here. He could get the hook even with good performance. Like, that's what the books are kind of screaming. I guess that's what we've seen. But, man, if he starts out, money again. I'm looking at, right, 4 1/3, gave up 0, got yanked, 5 2/3, and got yanked. I guess it's going to be a matchup thing. But no, let's leave the runs. Again, I am worried about the Philly offense. I don't want to just discard the stuff that I really think about a lot, right? That they're going to be sitting fastball. Excuse me. Oh, my goodness. I think that means it was true. Philly's going to be sitting fastball. Again, one of the excellent right-handed hitting teams and coming off of getting shut down. Not that easy to do it. Again, I don't want to beat the Philly stats to death, but if you have any new people here, Philly's getting very good against righties. Just excellent down the stretch, second half. Top 2 in the majors in isolated slugging, top 5 in homers, top 10 in OPS, WOBA, and WRC+. Schwarber, Turner, and Harper at the center of that, plus 925 OPS second half versus righties in game 3. Against Fott, only 2 batted ball events over 100 miles an hour, Harper and Marsh. Though, again, I mentioned the fastball stuff. I should have did it before the game 3. It's the entire lineup. Harper, Schwarber, Turner, Castellanos, JTR, and Brandon Marsh all had a double-digit barrel rate plus 350 expected WOBA versus right-handed fastballs on the season. The reason you could sit on a singular pitch, right? You're generally not going to hear me looking at singular pitches, is because he's throwing it at least 50% of the time. They're going to dare him. They're going to dare him to throw the offbeat stuff for strikes. They're going to be sitting fastball. Because it was only a single game, I went back and just went through the charting of Game 3. The Phillies did exactly that. They swung at every single fastball in the zone. They just didn't get it. There were multiple foul balls, a couple of swing and misses. He missed to Castellano, and Castellano swung and missed. He missed to Schwarber. Schwarber fouled it off. He missed to Harper. Harper fouled it off. He might not get that luck again. So though I do think he goes 4 innings, I am worried. Also, that might be part of the hook. A couple of hard hit balls kind of yoked foul. They might say, I don't know what else Arizona has waiting. I haven't heard anything about like who's on deck. Right, I'm not that immersed in this, but like I remember, my back in my Yankees days when we were sweating against the Mariners or against the Diamondbacks. Actually, worried about you're going to get Randy Johnson in game 1, 4, and 7 and all this. I don't know their plans, and that's probably going to dictate the quick hooks, which again throws off a lot of this stuff. So everyone just kind of bet small on these things. I'm doing my best to lay it out, and maybe I can highlight something that you like, that you want to go for. Again, I'm not trying to tell anybody else what to do. I just know for myself, it's a single game. This could spin in any direction. And I think like the majority of them worry me. I got to give the upper hand to the Phillies. Got to give the upper hand to the Phillies here. Even though the way Fod has been looked, it's hard to, again, like disregard him. So I'll go with the 12 outs because he's shown us he could do that. But beyond that, I'm a little bit worried. We're going to get into the other side, starting with Ranger Suarez. But first, a word for our lovely sponsor. Got to thank him so much for bringing his show fastest in MLB absolutely anywhere. Jay, tell me about BetStamp, por favor.
For sure, John, I got you here. And if you guys saw with the pitching outs there, we had a little bit of an off-market line there with Pinnacle at plus 115 over 11.5 when the rest of the books had it at minus 110. And guys, that's just a simple way to show how easy it is to improve as a sports bettor when you have multiple sports books and use an odds comparison tool to always get the best odds. That's what BetStamp does, right? BetStamp compares odds across every sports book, including games, player props, and futures to always get the best odds. Save time, save money, download the app today. And if you're looking to sign up for more sports books, make sure you head over to betstamp.app/call to the pen. If you sign up through that page, it helps support the show, guys. Better odds, more sports books, better. Simple stuff, guys. All right, now back to John.
Excellent job, Jay. As always, it only took me 6 months to figure it out. Too bad I didn't figure out the mute thing. I was going to say, I think it took me 6 months to get it right again. So that was the equivalent of, like, you were wide open, and I tried to throw you, like, a fancy pass, and I like, doinked it off the referee or something. Like, everybody, thank you so much, jumping on with us. Again, this is an immersive experience. We keep it real. We keep it 100. We keep it transparent. You can't fake this kind of fun. We bring it to you every single day, right? It's been like this. Appreciate all my people in the phalanx, man, helping us defend Sparta here. Renee Manis giving to the books nothing, taking from everything. Tyler C, that is so funny. It took me a second to get it. He says, is the team logo the eye patch from early season? I'm sitting there scratching my chin going, what is this guy talking about? Oh, yeah. So, Tyler C is one of us. He's been here through sickness and in hell. Me and Jay been here, got to be 130, 140 shows in a row without missing a single day. Again, you get sick. I was sick. Like, eye infection, boogers everywhere. My goodness. Jay, we did one day without video, right? Oh my gosh. Sick. I was dying. No normal person would have gone to work. No, there was not a single normal person when I was so sick. We were talking about going to the hospital. Anyway, that's a really good idea. I'm really gonna find that. That would be such a funny team logo. William Craig says managers seem to have itchy trigger fingers. Game 7, absolutely. That's the reason for all the low props. But Fume says, Harper and Schwab bomb early. That is, honestly, that's the outcome I keep leaning on. To be honest, but I'm worried that it's me being like biased because that was my initial. Right, I was looking at Phillies win. I just thought they were going to overwhelm it. I was been worried about Fod. I've been worried about the fastball, but he keeps performing. But that's the negative outcome of this: is he centers those fastballs again, just like he did in the game he excelled. That game he could have easily, he might have gone the same distance, but those balls could end up in his seat. So there might be a couple of home runs here. My beef with that is the pricing. We've mentioned that the pricing for player props on the hitter side is not properly reflecting the difficulty and the low totals, and that's part of why I have not posted them. We were getting better prices in much better situations with a better option. And I think the books know that. They have people are watching this now. Maybe squares are watching this and looking to bet on this stuff. And we're like, meh. Man, I was thinking about the F5 Arizona line, and now I don't know if I kind of talked myself off of it. Let's see if I can get myself back into it. Let's do the other side. Going for the Phillies, it's Ranger Suarez at Atlanta, went 3 2/3. Gave up 0, struck out 4, went 1, which is really damn good against Atlanta. Then versus Atlanta, went 5, gave up 1, struck out 2, walked 1. He was the hero. You know, I didn't think he had it in him. Atlanta was just so good against lefties. Suarez just doing the damn thing. Then really showed out in Game 3 against Arizona. Went 5 1/3, gave up none, struck out 7, and walked none. Big time start from the Power Ranger, man. Right, the Red Ranger. 14 innings pitched total. That's a .64 ERA and a .64 whip, 26 K to only 3% walk. And I can't help but think, shouldn't we be looking for regression here from Ranger Suarez? You know, it's not us, man. That is not us. To see somebody overperform for a couple games and buy into it. That's not us. We are rectangular traders here. When I say that, right, I have a background in derivatives trading, coming into sports betting. Really a ton of, maybe even more overlap I thought than when I first started. Though without baseball and daily activity, I don't know if anyone's into that stuff. I may start adding trades to my betting site. Like I chart, we'll chart trades with entries and outs. The way I like to trade is like sports betting. You just preset it and walk away. We're not going to micromanage anything. You get the entries, you get the stop outs, you get the exits, and that's it. You walk away. And it hits or it doesn't hit, and you let it run. I've been very successful trading also. So I've thought about that. Anyway, rectangular trading, meaning when something is going up at the top, you're not necessarily always looking for like breakout, perpetual infinity upwards. A lot of times when things are on the top is when we're going to short it. And when something is at the bottom and people are, this guy sucks, he's terrible. Jose Abreu, I have the receipts on that one. He's a really good hitter. And he stunk. He's also an old man. It was cold. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to make up excuses for these guys. I charted him. We called like the literal bottom on Abreu, and he was decent after that. He ended up getting hurt and dropped in fantasy circles. But the theory is the same. When assets are suppressed below where you think they're valued, regardless of what people think, you've got to have the intestinal fortitude to pull the trigger. Right? This is on us. That's what separates us from them. Let them chase. I'm worried about Suarez regression. Let's check it out. I'm worried about Fott regression. I'm worried about Suarez regression. I should probably be betting the over on this one, Jay. But like, who bets the over on a Game 7? You got to be a maniac. What is the total, mind you? Is it like, it's not like 7, is it? I don't even know. It's 8.5. Oh, what a cop-out from the books. Anyway. 22 games started from Ranger Suarez, 11 quality starts, so half. 3 money starts, 1 10 strikeout starts. So he's not really a needle mover. Featuring the sinker, right, to get more of a contact stuff. 28 use, 328 xLOG, which is very good, but only 10% whiff. The change and the curve did have a 31% whiff rate this season, which is really good. Again, I think he gets shortchanged for being a contact pitcher. I mean, I fall into the trap myself. And, the statistics are not necessarily there. He had an 89.5% zone contact, only 23% whiff rate, 9 swinging strike. 13 came at his BB on the season for Ranger Suarez. Again, sometimes these guys find, at different levels. And that's where, again, we're getting into narrative street. I don't hide that stuff. I'm not crazy about single game slates. But I do have a lot of fun kind of breaking this down and looking at the different angles, which I think you need to. In fact, sometimes when I think about this stuff, single game, I attack it how I would attack a single game for NFL, right, who often gives us a single game slate, which almost draw up like a couple SGPs. Draw up how this thing goes differently. Where one is all the home runs, Schwarber bases, Turner bases, Harper bases, with, Suarez win, under earned runs, over strikeouts, where you get the good start from Suarez in the win, you get production from the Philly offense. There's one. And then you drop another one where maybe Font and Suarez are both good. They both go over the outs, over the Ks, under the walks. That one you can go under the F5, right? Under the total. That's how I prefer to do these things, try to maximize rather than absolutely predict how it's going to go. I've just been doing my best to lean into our probabilistic scenario, I guess. All right, so we faced Arizona twice in the regular season. May 24th at home. Went 5, gave up 5, struck out 5, walked 1. Not great. Arizona got to him. Then June 14th, he turned a beat around at Arizona in the desert. Went 7, gave up 0, struck out 7, walked 2. The K, I had to, Jay, bring up the strikeouts for Ranger Suarez, please. Very rarely do you get this. Again, this goes back to what Will was saying. Will, another one of the sharper tools in a shed. We appreciate you, Will. You kind of come up in conversation before the, top of the class, let's call it. Oh, it's so juiced up. It is so juiced up. I'm getting minus 185. I don't want the extra strikeout, though. Maybe, Jay, just let's hold our nose and let's pay the minus 180. Just hold our nose. Ranger Suarez. Over 2.5 strikeouts. He did that 22 of 22 times, and then 2 of 3 in the postseason. I guess one against Atlanta. Man, it's hard not to go. 22 of 22. It's 3 strikeouts. He had the whiff, big time whiff stuff going. Here, check this out. I have it here. Ranger Suarez in that game 3. 57% whiff rate on the changeup. That was 4 of 7. 57% whiff rate on the curveball. That was 4 of 7. So he kind of upped the usage on it. We went 25 change, 20 curve. Dropped the 4-seam use a touch, which again makes sense against these Diamondbacks. Again, we're not great against lefties. They're just not very good offense. People get mad at me when I say they're not a very good offense. I had a couple strings, they were very good. But so Ranger Suarez, what are you getting? I don't really know. I'm not 100% sure. Let's get through the rest of the props before we do the offense. 10.5 outs. He did that 21 of 22 times. Jay, what's the juice on the out props? I get we're talking quick hooks. This guy's not an opener. He's a starting pitcher. And I get it's game 7 and all hands on deck. That doesn't mean you yank the starter in the second inning to go to a bullpen. That's not what it means. That one's we're a little on the outside, the further edges of our viable bets, I'd say, right where we minus 135 pinnacle. I just don't see how we don't do that. It doesn't. It's every, it's quite literally every single game that he does it. I know the books are tempting us. I know the quick hook is there. We get all that stuff. But in at least one of my stories, this is money. Every single game but one, it was at home versus the Cubs. So yeah, let's go over the 10.5 outs. You just got to think he gets 11 outs. You got to get shelled. You got to get shelled to not get 11 outs. I guess they let him go 5-5. That was regular season. Not like I'm expecting that, but I don't know. The way he's been pitching, I think you got to lean into that. Walk prop, he got over 1.5 walks, 17 of 22. We go over this one also. We just try the blanket play. The old Matty Williams volume builds character mantra here. I see the line there. Fumes on the Phillies run line. Yo, I hear you, Barker Dog. Do me a solid, though. When you post plays, just throw the price in there for us. I don't have all the prices in there moving. So, like, if that one's plussed out, is that like plus? Okay, I got plus 120. I'm seeing. I don't hate that. Part of me like the plus 100 F5 for the Diamondbacks getting the run just kind of as a cop out. But again, I'm not sure. And then Suarez, 1.5 earned run, he did that 15 of 22. Though the way he's been going, I guess you leave it. But again, I just feel like all these things are over. You go over that he could go 4 innings, 2 walks, 2 runs, and just clear like everything. So I think that's where I'm at on really both of these sides. I think the books may have just come down a touch too low. These pitching props are not a big volume play for them. And if we start hammering them, we might actually get them to move these things. So that's where I'm at. Arizona offense, second half versus lefties, roughly 800 plate appearances. Not good. Bottom 3 in home runs. Bottom 5 in ISO. Bottom 10 in batting average, OPS. Team WOBA and WRC+. Plus. The quite literally lone shining light here is Christian Walker. Bring up his total bases. That's not last 75 plate appearances against lefties, 281 batting average, a 1,005 OPS, and a 379 ISO. That's a 38% extra base hit rate with 8 Shamalama Ding Dongs. Ketel Marte posted an 850. No one else above 800 in the second half versus lefties. It was a struggle. Wow, Jay, since we're paying juice, we just start paying juice. The reason I say that, people, is Jay showing us bet stamp. Again, why you like to see the general market. If you're only looking at one site, you assume that all the lines are the same. In this case, they are not. Christian Walker, you can get for a half base, juiced up. I like that, man. Jay, we really like that because it's a lot, right? We're live for a single the whole game. Take that one. Take it. Even though I do kind of like the 2 bases, the problem is, like I said, the price does not reflect a game 7. For me, total bases should be like at a premium. These hits are extremely hard, right? You're going to get tons of relievers, tons of swaps potentially, or at least that's what the books are telling us. So yeah, I like the half base, right? We're isolated for a base hit, minus 185. The only thing I would mention to you, Jay, and this is a really good piece of advice, something we noticed throughout the season. If you notice that, and this, come on, man, rate, review, and subscribe this bad boy. Where else he getting this shit? Anyway, when you see a total base at 1/2, meaning 1 base, you must also check the base hit props. Because sometimes, even though they're the same thing, the prices are different. Might only be 5 cents, might be 10 cents, but you'd thank me if it's the case. So get the better price on Christian Walker, either half base or half base hit. But I'll pay the juice for that because I really like the spot he's in. I mean, he thrives. This is it. This is the biggest spot for him where he should be able to eat. Now, versus Rangers Suarez in the regular season, I mean, we're like BVPing down to the minuscule stuff here. But I promise you, telescope to the microscope, nuance in the context when you roll with us. Absorb it you want, discard it you don't. Corbin Carroll, 467 expected WOBA. Pretty damn good. Lourdes Gurriel, 368 expected WOBA. And Longoria actually had the big performance. It's only 5 plate appearances, but still in those 2 games. 556 expected WOBA with the barrel and the 109-mile-an-hour homer. So even with the runs giving up, he didn't really get torched. Longo had really got him good. See, the problem here, again, I was going to say you could bring up the Longo bases, and it's like you could start playing minus 180 till your face turns blue, but you still need a really good hit rate to get it. So if you're doing like DFS or underdog or prize picks or any of that kind of stuff, those are the players you're looking for. We're looking for Walker. And I think you got to look at Ketel Marte also, though he struggled in the second half. This is in game 3. There were 5 batted ball events off of Ranger Suarez, over 100 miles an hour. Carroll had one. Longo had one, right? So, again, see that continuation? Maybe that is a place where, like, maybe there is something with the BVP. It went from regular season. It continued into the postseason. But then Ketel Marte had 3 of those 5. The top one was 116. Holy crap. I hate the total bases. I don't want. I know, I hear you. So he's got him up, and if you're into it, you go for it. It's certainly there. You hit the crap out of him. I'm just not loving it, man. I don't love the price. I don't love the total. I don't love that we're the heavy underdog. It's just not all in place for me. So again, I'm not pulling the trigger on being a bit conservative. If you think I'm being a coward, feel free to push up against me. A lot of these are plays that I do like, but again, I don't think the price is in play. And I'd rather be called a coward that didn't get you in trouble over levering than, doing that. I always kind of take my foot off the gas a little bit as we get down to the ends. I prefer the futures. And again, the Philly sweep didn't really work out, so shows you what I know you. All right, let's get out of here, everybody. That'll do it. Game 7 NLCS. We've got a couple props for you, Jay. Would you be so nice as to bring them up? Only took me 6 months to learn that, yes, if you want to follow them, you've got to get them here. You can't follow them on BetStamp until after. But I do love that because you go follow us there, showing the support. I hate to beg for it, but the support from you guys matters more than it should. I also feel less bad about it when it's free. This show is free. I obviously work my ass off on this. Playoff stats are not easily readily available, I should say. You can't just go to Fangraphs and grab them. They're not there. You can't go anywhere and grab them. You got to start hand mining. So, again, death taxes, sun rising in the east, and me up before the crack of freaking dawn to do this show. So you feel like you're at the tip of the spear when you're hanging with us and the feelings in baseball's version of Sparta. All right, Jay, let's do it, homie. We are out of here. Thank you for picking up what we're putting down here at Call to the Pen HQ. Make sure you're subscribed. Got just a handful of episodes left. We're going to come at you with a World Series preview either Wednesday or Thursday, and then we'll have the regular show back on Friday for the Game 1 stuff. So thank you, Crypto, OPMG, BGC, Fume, Tyler C, BE, everyone that's been jumping in. Really do appreciate you. Catch me on Twitter at John Laghezza. Catch us on Twitter at Colton HQ. And remember, when you work this hard, it's a lot less like luck, yo. Peace.